So, if I was going to let you know what I took from the class, the most important thing I took from globalization, it would definitely have to be my ability to recognize and apply the definitions and ideologies to my everyday life. I see things around me and I know, hey, that's something we spoke about in class. For example, I just had to shut my phone off over here because I was getting updates about the World Baseball Classic. And in class, we would call that respatialization. I'm able to experience something that's going on in another part of the globe at the same time. It's fascinating. But another definition or a theory rather, that is very prominent around the globe today is liberalism, and not in a political sense, but more in a open market sense, being able to cross boundaries for trade without and deregulating that process, taking out regulations so we can do that easier. The idea there is that eventually the quality of life for everybody will be higher. But take this shirt. At one point, it was manufactured in the U.S. In our excellent textile industry, but that's non-existent anymore. All that work has been outsourced overseas, and it's a bummer, but a lot of those jobs are in poor working conditions. And a Marxist, for example, would say that's just the capitalist being the capitalist. The rich get richer on the work of the poor. So that's definitely a Marxist attitude. Um, but similarly, we've outsourced jobs like call centers, and I know most people probably have experience with that. Um, but those jobs are, fairly good working conditions, and they've actually helped bring people in countries like India, for example, um, helps people create, young people mostly, some financial independence. And of those young people, mostly women, which a feminist would be all over. The fact that a woman can go to work on her own, not stay in the house, that's a very positive thing for a feminist. Kind of breaking that male dominant barrier. At the same time, those young people are creating an identity for themselves. Um, and we would call that in class social constructivism, where these young people are creating this identity, kind of breaking their cultural norm from the bottom up. But it is funny that new identity that they're creating is somewhat resembling of a Western culture. You see a lot of Western cultural things going on in those younger crowds in places like India, where they've gotten their financial independence. And we would call that in class westernization or modernization, where there's an outward push from Western nations and cultures are kind of being swallowed up into the same Western culture that we have here in the U.S. Same kind of clothes, listening to similar music, similar food, all that kind of thing, doing similar things with your friends, going to the mall, hanging out. You're seeing a lot of that being pushed that way. That's pretty much the big takeaway for me is being able to recognize when I'm seeing that in my day to day life. Thank you.